It's match preview for the final Premier League game of the season, Ipswich Town versus West Ham. And my God, Tom, it has been a slog this season. And I'm so delighted to finally say that this is it, the final game, and we can draw a line under this bloody dire season. How are you there, mate? You all right?
I'm good, thank you, mate. Yeah, all well. Like I say, it's been a terrible season, and football just in general. Tottenham winning the other night just absolutely sealed it. Let's forget this season ever happened, or just get into another sport like badminton or something. I'm done with football.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, bowls for me. I think I'm going to go with bowls. Something like that. Yeah, that's more. Yeah, honestly, yeah, it has been, wasn't it? It was like the cherry on the cake, wasn't it? Seeing Tottenham lift the trophy, which is painful, but it kind of summarises season, epitomises how it's been. It's just been one of them. We've just got to draw a line and hopefully move forward in a positive manner. But it's when you've had a season like this, it does take its toll, and it's hard to have that sort of optimism. I think the fan base are feeling it. We're all feeling it. So hopefully, I think having a break from football will do everyone a bit of good, actually. So let's hope we can wrap things up on a high. Before we get into the preview, though, if you're new to the channel, do subscribe. It takes 2 seconds to do so. We really do appreciate it. Also, hit that like button because it does help us to grow our audience. We really appreciate it. Right, before we get into West Ham, mate, let's talk about Ipswich Town. A disappointing end for them, of course. They would have expected. I think they were hopeful that they could mount a challenge to survive. I think out of 3 teams that are going down, I would say Ipswich were the more likely to in terms of how they went about their business. I like their coach as well. I like McKenna. But it didn't work, Tom, did it? In fact, they're miles off. You know, I mean, they've not really looked like staying up for quite some time because of the fact that the gap it feels that between this Championship and the Premier League is getting greater and greater. What's your feelings on Ipswich?
Yeah, exactly that, mate. It's the gap between the Premier League and Championship clubs is so big now that you are stuck in this position when you get promoted. Where do you stick with the players that got you into that position and got you promoted, or do you just buy Premier League experience? They sort of went with the former, and it's not really paid off for them. And yeah, they look like a team lacking that sort of Premier League quality, which we've seen with all 3 teams that have come up. And it's a shame. We don't want to see that. We want competition in the Premier League. We want these new teams to come up and have a real go. Ipswich obviously haven't been in the league for a while, so I think there was some optimism there. A lot of people sort of predicted that they would, steer clear of the drop because of their sort of attacking football and the way they sort of really done well in the Championship. But yeah, it's a shame really that they've not been able to sort of produce the quality. And I don't know if McKenna, who likewise I think is a good coach, if he would regret anything, if he would change anything as he looks back at it and maybe be a bit more defensive in games. They've been very sort of front foot. They've tried to go man to man in a lot of games, like man to man marking all over the pitch. And I remember watching the opening game of the season against Liverpool, and they tried to do that, and you just felt like if they do that all season, they're gonna come unstuck. But yeah, it's one of those things. They'll obviously, they've gone down, and they'll expect to come back up again in maybe next season or season after with the parachute payments, and we'll probably see the same. So this is where we are with the Premier League. It's getting a little bit same old. So I'm hopeful that if they do come back up, they have a better go of it. But yeah, it's been disappointing for them.
Yeah, I think that what it's shown is just a gulf in quality between the 2 leagues. It's becoming bigger and bigger, and we've known that's been the case for quite a while, but it's now becoming very evident. As you say, you look back at them last season in the Championship, they were really entertaining. They were thoroughly deserved their promotion, obviously back-to-back promotions as well. It was always going to be a big challenge for them to make this step up to the Premier League. As you say, I think they recruited well. I think they've got a decent squad, actually. I think they've got some really good players and a bit of Premier League experience in there. Obviously, they've got Ben Johnson from West Ham, who was a useful player for us. So, obviously, Delap's taken the headlines this season of being one of the best in the league as a striker. He's been outstanding. So, and even those ingredients, and obviously the other players, Hutchinson's I really rate. And they've got this Greaves, I think, and defence. They've got a good few players. But I just think, even with that, even with having a really good goal scorer and better Premier League quality in your team and everything else, and a very good coach, just way off the pace still, nowhere near staying up. It's quite worrying, I think, for promoted teams. And it's almost as if now there's becoming sort of 3 types of clubs now. You've got the Premier League, established Premier League clubs, and even now, when you say established Premier League clubs, West Ham are forming part of that, even though we're bloody terrible, and we're still considered very difficult to catch now from Championship sides. So you've kind of got these Premier League 17, and then you've then got these sort of yo-yo clubs now that are going to keep going up and down, up and down, up and down until one can stay up. I mean, I think I did read the other day, and it might be obvious news, but it shocked me a little bit that the last team that were promoted to stay up was Nottingham Forest, which is quite worrying, really. And you think for Forest to stay up, they had to break the rules, get points deductions, and the gamble paid off. So it's hard. It's really hard. But that being said, I really like Ipswich. We've always had a good relationship, I think, West Ham and Ipswich. And fair play to them. They come up, they've given it a go. They've as you say, they've stuck to their principles of playing attack on the front foot, attacking football, and tried to go man-to-man, toe-to-toe with Premier League teams. It hasn't worked ultimately, but I think they go down with their heads held high. But next season, Tom, I mean, they'll be going down to the Championship, of course. I think it's fair to say if they can keep their squad pretty much together, I think they will. Obviously, Delap will go. There will be a couple of others. Hutchinson, I think they'll struggle to keep, but there's a couple of players I think will stay. Also, if they keep McKenna, I think that's the key one. I think they probably will, just about. Do you think promotion again for the next season? They're going to bounce straight back up?
I think they'll be in the mix 100%, at least playoffs, I would predict. Like you say, they've got a lot of good players, particularly young players as well. They've got a young team, so you'd think they're only going to get better. Obviously, they're going to lose Delap, probably Hutchinson as well. But if they keep the rest of the players and replace Delap's goals, which I'm sure they'll be able to in the Championship, yeah, I'd be surprised if they weren't at least in the playoff mix this time next season. So, yeah, this is exactly what you say. Hit the nail on the head. It's just this group of teams, group of clubs that just seem to be up and down, up and down, up and down. And it's the parachute payments. It's the way that the league system is run at the moment. And I think Ipswich are going to be beneficiaries of that next season. So I don't think it'll be too long. I don't think it'll be the same gap of Ipswich Town not being in the Premier League as it was previously. So I'm sure we'll see them again pretty soon. Yeah, maybe in the Championship. Maybe West Ham will drop into the Championship and we'll see them.
Well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, it's almost now Premier League subs, unless they have an absolute disastrous season, are almost safe. It's, you look at us, Tottenham, Man United, Wolves. I mean, some really teams that have desperately struggled this season, and we've stayed up comfortably. I know it's not been comfortable to bloody watch, but just because of the bottom three teams that have just struggled to amass those goals and points, it's made it very, very comfortable for Premier League clubs now to almost guaranteed Premier League football. I mean, even with West Ham now, okay. We're going into a daunting period now where we've got a manager that's going to be making wholesale changes. We're all a bit unsure whether he's going to be right for us. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to hope that he's going to be and it's all going to pay off, but we just don't know. But even if with West Ham, you kind of feel like, but even still, I'm still confident we'll probably stay up next season anyway. Even if it doesn't go very well, even if the recruitment doesn't quite work and we are poor still and we're still struggling and we're in the bottom 6, 7 all season. And a part of me feels like, well, we'll still probably stay up. We'll probably be all right because the bottom teams will be, 2 of them will probably be 2 promoted teams. There might be Leeds possibly that will be fighting to try and stay up. But you know what I mean? It's a strange situation we're in at the moment. So, that's not as guaranteed, but it just feels like that now. The gap. Players, you obviously talked about Delap, player that then Hutchinson. We talked about anyone else that you feel like possibly anyone else that you'd be looking at Ipswich thinking maybe, or is it too much of a Championship level side for you?
It is too much of a Championship side for me. I mean, Delap is the one that if we could get him, I know he's going to have lots of interest. I would snap their hands off because I think he is a very, very good striker. I like the left back, Leif Davis. I think he's a little bit raw, a little bit, maybe too aggressive at times. I don't know, but he seems like a player that could get better and could become a sort of Premier League standard player. Jacob Greaves, obviously, we were linked with last summer, and it was sort of. It felt like at some point we would sign him. He's obviously gone to Ipswich. I think in a few of the games, I think he's done okay. Again, he's young. I expect him to get better. So there's a few players there that I think will get better and become Premier League players, just not at that standard yet. And we've obviously got to be careful. If you sign too many Championship level players, exactly where you're going is the Championship. So, I think for me, Hutchinson and Delap are the ones that are ready just to go bang straight into the Premier League. And I'm pretty sure both of them will find Premier League clubs, particularly Delap.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Delap's the one for me that obviously I think there's a lot of clubs that are interested. Manchester United heavily linked, but I don't know whether that's sort of Cunha's now seems to be more the favourite to go there. But whatever it is, he will be going, I'm sure. To be honest with you, I feel like West Ham would be a good move actually for someone like Delap. I think that's the sort of club level he should be going for. He doesn't want to be going for a club where it's littered with superstars. He's got to try and battle. He can be battling for the shirt. We've seen that happen so many times before with these players, and their careers just stall. I think he needs to go to somewhere where he's going to be the main man. I do hope that we are going to go in for him. I don't think we are at the moment. I've not heard enough to suggest that we are really, really interested and we're going to make a football move for him. But yeah, he's a quality footballer. I'd love him at West Ham, to be honest with you. On to West Ham though, mate. So. As we record this, Graham Potter hasn't done his press conference as yet, so we don't actually know exactly the team news. But I don't believe there's anything really to report, as far as I understand. I think it's the same as it has been for a while. Antonio and Somerville out, everyone else available, which is pretty good for Graham Potter. Not that it's made much difference in recent weeks, let's be honest. But that's where we are at. It's the final day, mate, isn't it? So it's one of them occasions where. Look, we want to finish above Tottenham. We want to finish above Man United. That's obvious. So it'd be nice to go and get something out of this game. It'd be nice to finish on a high. And there's also going to be some sentimental value to this, Tom. We've got players that we know are going. I felt that West Ham handled the exits of the final home games for some players really badly. I've got to be honest. I thought, just something of nothing in the end. I thought, the whole Creswell thing, because it's strange. The club turned around and said, make sure you're on your seats by 2:00. Make sure it's all there because we've got this ceremony going on and all this sort of stuff. So when I was there at the ground, I was kind of expecting, I don't know, a bit more. I thought it was going to be a bit more. It was a bit odd. It was a bit strange. It was like the players were warming up, and all of a sudden they went, "Oh, there's Aaron Creswell. He's getting something from Mark Noble." And then they went clack clack, and he walked off, and that was it. It was like, okay, was that it? Nothing really for Soufal. It just didn't seem right. I don't think they got it very well right at all, to be honest. But West Ham don't tend to get these things right. So it's a bit disappointing. But this is an opportunity, I think, on Sunday for certain players to say goodbye to the club, goodbye to the fans. And I'm hoping that Potter listens to that, because ultimately, all right, we want to win a game. Of course we do. But ultimately, the season's done. I know there's a few million quid up for grabs, but Gio put a good comment out about that and said, well, that's been the case for many weeks, that there was money up for grabs, and we haven't gone out about our business looking desperate to climb the table, really. So I struggle to believe that we're going into this game like, my God, we must get a result because we really want to climb. It's like, well, you didn't show that hunger against Spurs, you didn't really show it against Forest. So I'm not too fussed about it, really. I've got to be perfectly honest. I hope it just be a good day and a nice day to end the season after it's been such a long slog. What's your feelings going into it, Tom? Are you engaged with it, looking forward to it, or is it a bit of a something or nothing?
I'm probably looking forward to it in the fact that the opposition, it's Ipswich, you feel like they'll just not really care about the actual result. I mean, obviously they want to win, but I think it will be one of those end of season feeling games, and hopefully that means sort of just all sort of tactical plans and chess sort of type game of football goes out the window. It's just you attack, we attack, bit of a basketball game, and we see some goals, we see some attacking football, and we'll hopefully see some bits to get excited about for next season. How long have we been saying that? We've been saying that every week. So I'm not holding my breath. Other than that, I'm also just excited to get the Premier League season done, and we can just start focusing on transfers, because like we said at the start, it's just been a really terrible season. And I think Nottingham Forest game on last Sunday just epitomised it. It was like, but until BOWEN scored and then people started pushing people around, we just saw nothing. It's just like, you're obviously not that bothered about giving these players a good send-off. You're not that bothered about trying to, like you say, nick a couple of places in the league to win a few extra million. You're not that bothered because we're not seeing it on the pitch. We're still not seeing the passion. We've asked for it all season. We're still not seeing it. So, why would we see it in this game? Other than so the only thing I'm hopeful for is just, an exciting game of football. You attack, we attack, and see some goals, and say goodbye to a few players who have been good servants for the club.
Yeah, they have, and I think it's one of the, as you say, it's one of the games. Let's just try and end it on a high. I mean, The thing is, the way that this season's panned out, especially since Potter's been here, and I've said this quite a few times, I still do think we're in a better place than we were under Lopetegui. I still think we've got a better coach, and but that's not saying I'm thrilled with things, but I'm certainly feel more comfortable where things are. But the problem is, because the results have been so poor, it means now that Potter's putting himself under a major amount of pressure straight away. So it's all on this summer. Everything's on it. So it's worrying. It's putting a lot of pressure on the football club. But I really hope we can, as you say, let the shackles off a little bit. Just go and have a bit of fun, see some goals, try and end things on a bit of a high. Hope there's a few nods to a few players that are going to say goodbye. And then we, as you say, look forward to the summer, because I think as fans, once this season's done and it's been a couple of weeks and we've settled down and football's sort of wrapping up, and then, as you say, the transfer window opens, I think the enthusiasm for the club will start to grow a little bit more. And I think we need it. I think we all desperately need a bit of a break and a bit of time to recharge and try and get our sort of passion and excitement levels back up again. I mean, at the moment it's very low. I've not seen it this low for a long time in terms of West Ham fans. So it'd be nice to see that change. And I feel like this game, it would be nice to. I think that will go a long way to do that. I think if we can end on a high, it'd be nice to sort of go away and think, oh, that was a good performance, good result, a few goals, and then at least we can start looking forward. Right, teams, mate. Let's talk about what we want to do. I mean, formation-wise, what are you going back 4 or back 3? What's your lineup?
Back 4. We obviously started with the back 3 against Forest. It didn't work, and then Potter made 4 changes, sort of reverted to the back 4, and I think it felt like we were a bit better, but we were sort of chasing the game, so we couldn't be much worse. But yeah, I think open the game up. Ipswich tend to go with a 4-2-3-1, so literally matching them up, 4-2-3-1, get some attacking players on the pitch, and try and see some attacking football.
Nice, yeah. I'm doing the same, 4-2-3-1. So let's go with this. Right, first of all, goalkeeper. This is an interesting one because, of course, Lucas Fabianski's last game as a West Ham player. Are you going to be sentimental and put him on, or are you thinking, no, stick with old Alphonse?
I'm a little bit sentimental there because I think Fabianski deserves it. I think Areola was obviously give the ball away for the Forest goal. So it was that bad that I just think for Fabianski, and I don't want to see us trying to play out from the back. We're clearly not good enough. So Fabianski, just kick it long, please. But yeah, Fabianski in goal for his last appearance for the club. Yeah,
absolutely. I agree with you on that one. I'm not impressed with Areola, as you know. I've said for a while I don't really rate him. I mean, he's an okay goalkeeper, but I think he's a good number 2 goalkeeper. That's how I see him. I don't ever really classify him as a number 1. Whether West Ham are going to go out and buy a number 1 this summer, I think it remains to be seen. I'm not convinced we will, because I think there's other priorities, and I think they might just say that we haven't got the opportunity. We haven't got the funding to do that this summer. I don't know. But that being said, I don't really care. I want to see Fabianski given his run out of here, because he was clearly very upset when he was interviewed. I think it was by Polish media or something, and he was very visibly annoyed that he wasn't given any minutes. So I really hope that Potter can sort that out, because Potter needs to as well be aware that he needs to get the fans on side. He needs to start showing that he's got a West Ham heart in him. Do you know what I mean? And I think he needs to. These are sort of things that go a long way towards that. And at the end of the day, he's a good goalkeeper anyway. It's not like you bloody put in, a 12-year-old in goal or something, and you think what you're doing. You put in an experienced Premier League manager. Manager. If I don't do that, an experienced Premier League goalkeeper in goal. And it'll be a good send off for him. The fans will like it. It's like, come on, read the room. He talks about being intelligent and having these degrees in bloody sociology, whatever it is. And you kind of think, well, this is what you need to, get a grip here. Read the room and think, get him playing. But I don't think he will, because he doesn't.
No, I don't.
But that's what I would do, definitely, Fabianski. Right, back 4. What are you going for?
So I've just gone with what I would say at the moment is our strongest back 4, with Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman and Scarles, with the idea that 60, 70 minutes gone, bring Scarles off, give him a rest, and bring Cresswell on for his final appearance. I know left back, he hasn't really played this season, but who cares? Just fit him in, just play him at left back. He's fundamentally a left back. So yeah, that's the back 4 I've gone with.
Yeah, I totally agree. The only thing I've literally agreed with everything you said. The only thing I would do as well is I'll bring on Caelan Casey as well at some point. I probably would take off Kilman, bring on Casey for the last maybe second half or something. Get him out there. Show the fans that this is the future. This is what I'm doing. This is like, give us a bit of an indication of where your mind's going with this. You know, don't get me wrong. I don't, as you say, it'd be nice to see Creswell given his sort of a farewell. Although I know he's kind of had that, but I agree. I do think for the last game, and it's against Ipswich as well, where he came from. And to be honest, I'd love to see him go back there. To be honest, I hope if he is going to play on, do another couple of years, it'd be quite nice for him to go back and help them out next season. Right, midfield then. So you got 4-2. What's your midfield pair then?
So I've gone again. It's difficult, this one, isn't it? I mean, I've gone Soler. Still would like to see him start. I think he actually came on against Forest and looked all right. Looked quite bright. Had a couple of sort of shots that were blocked. So I'd go with him and Alvarez. I think it might be Alvarez's last appearance. But again, like with the Skulls issue, I would have the idea to bring Lewis Alford onto the pitch with 20, 30 minutes to go for either one of those two, probably Soler, and give him a run out. I would rather see Alford on the bench than Rodriguez. Guido Rodriguez has been a bit of a nightmare of signing. I can't believe he started 2 games in a row. Yes, we beat Man United, but anyone beats United at the moment. And yeah, I just thought I don't want to see him. I want to see some youth on the bench, and Alford, it seems like the perfect opportunity to do that. So yeah, Soler and Alvarez from the start, Alford coming on about 30 minutes to go.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Absolutely. I've gone Souček instead of Alvarez. Okay. Only because I think well, but as you say, I think Alvarez will go anyway this summer. Also, I don't know. Souček's that sort of dangerous player, and he's a big fan favourite. And again, this could well be his last game for West Ham as well. So that's what I'd go with. Again, totally agree with Soler. I thought he looked good actually when he came on against Forest. So yeah, absolute agreement. And I would like to see Alford come on as well. Right, you're 3 then. So you got 4-2-3. Yeah. So what's your front 3 then? Ahead of your striker.
So 3 behind the striker. I've gone Bowen on the right, obviously, Paquetá in the number 10, and then Guilherme on the left. I think Guilherme again showed that he's bright coming off the bench. I actually thought that he made a run where he sort of beat a couple of players, and it was through the centre of the pitch. So I'd quite like to see during the game a bit of fluidity that Potter should be able to sort of bring to the club. Paquetá and Guilherme just swapping, leave Paquetá on the left, who he's played there many times and actually done well on the left for us. And Guilherme in that sort of 10 position, picking the ball up from the centre midfielders and sort of dribbling and running with it. So a little bit of fluidity. That's why I've gone with Alvarez and Soler as well. I'd like to see a midfield, like I say, just let's see some attacking football. Let's try and get some passes together. So I think that 3, get Kudus off the pitch, not interested. And that 3 should, hopefully attack.
And that's one thing I don't get with Potter at the moment. You know, he talks about wanting to see this more attacking football, and you know we're lacking in attacking threat. And yet every time we've seen Guilherme, he seems to provide that in abundance. He's got no fear. He's brave. He gets stuck in. He's fast. He's good on the ball. He looks lively. I don't understand what he has to do to be starting. And then yet again we see Kudus play, and you know, he huffs and puffs and all that stuff, but we've seen nothing really from him this seaon. And I just get a bit tired of watching it. And we know he's going. It's like, just stop playing him. You know, Guilherme's, as we understand it, won't be going. I don't think we're intending to sell him. So get him playing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, as we said, read the room, Potter. Fans want to see a bit of excitement. Get your players out there that are up for it. And Guilherme's showing it. As you say, I was impressed with him again. I'm starting to have high hopes for him now. You know, well, high hopes, but I'm starting to get certainly more hopeful of where his future could be at West Ham. So yeah, I agree with you. I've gone Bowen, Paquetá, and Guilherme, and I'm guessing Nicholas Fulkrug, your striker.
Yeah, it's not going to be Evan Ferguson, is it? It's
You're joking, really? Oh, bloody hell! I can't believe it. I'm stunned. You're a maverick. I mean, it's got to be. I mean, if he doesn't start Fulkrug, I'm fuming, to be honest with you, because I'm getting just tired. We cannot go into this game with a mindset of going, don't lose, be a bit careful. Let's be a bit. Just go for it. Just go for it. And if we lose 4-3, lose 4-3. Do you know what I mean? I don't care. Just go for it. No one's really interested anyway. In terms of the result, just go and play and give it a go. Talking the result, then, mate. What are you saying?
So I think there'll be goals. Like I said, I think it'll be open. I feel like because it's end of season, both teams will kind of get to a stage. 70 minutes gone, it'll start becoming sentimental. Maybe Cresswell come onto the pitch, that kind of stuff. And I think both teams, if it's a draw at that stage, we'll just go, we'll see it out for a draw. So I'm stuck between 2-2 and West Ham 3-2. I'm going to go with 2-2. I'm going to go with my head on this one. I think it'll be a draw. Both teams take a point from it, and a couple of goals each. So 2-2.
I don't know if you can see that. Where's my phone? Is it 2?
Oh, there we go.
2. 2-2. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. I think there'll be goals. I don't see West Ham winning because it's West Ham. We just don't seem to be able to do that at the moment. So, I agree. I think there'll be goals. Now, I hope there is. I want this to be a positive end to the season. We need to have something going into the summer. We know it's going to be quite an emotional day, I think, for a fair few, because obviously we're going to be losing a lot of players this summer. Some big names as well. Thomas Souček being the big one. I think if this is going to be his last game, I think how he behaves is going to be quite telling. I think if he's quite emotional, and I think he'll know, because he is someone that's desperately loves this football club. So if he knows deep down this is his last game, I think he will show that. So it's going to be interesting. Also, Lucas Paqueta, we don't know. I mean, again, I really hope we don't lose Paqueta, to be honest with you. He's one of the players that I think he's done well under Potter. And I think they complement each other a little bit. So I do hope that that's not going to be the case. But it appears it's probably likely to be his as well. So look, it's a big day in that regard. But in terms of the actual game, I don't think it's too big a deal. We just want to hopefully finish above Spurs, get that confirmed, and above Man United. At least that'd be quite amusing, something to take from this season and draw a line under it. So thanks for that. We'll obviously be back with some more videos. Got bits and pieces. Tom will be doing some bits and pieces, I'm sure, in the coming days, and we'll do a catch up as well with Tom next week, obviously after the game, and then start looking forward to a transfer window, which is going to be quite interesting, to say the least, I think, this summer. But until then, take care, everyone, and come on your ones.